Hey, thank you so much for tuning in. Before I kick off the show tonight with our amazing guests, I want to talk about, it's got tacos all over my shirt. I want to talk about our amazing sponsor, Smile Sonica. If you have not yet heard about Smile Sonica, you might have heard about this cool little device that they developed, the AVO system. Now, the AVO system is a device that is sent home with orthodontic treatment, either in braces or clear aligners. And what the device actually does, this disruptive little piece of technology does, is uses ultrasonics. Now, these guys have done all the work to get all the evidence and all the case study to back this, and is actually a class 2 medical device. So you actually have to be approved by Smile Sonica to use the device in practice. So it's a class 2 medical device, uses ultrasonics. It biostimulates osteoclasts and osteoblasts. So the result of that is, and there's studies and evidence that's backing this up, is that it's reducing mid-course correction and a treatment refinement. This is a huge one. They're seeing, and one of their case shows this, that they saw a 220% reduction in root resorption. So that's huge. That's a huge number. That we're talking about long-term health of the patient. And also, we all know that these long cases, they go on for a long duration. What the device is actually doing is reducing. Okay, and it's all backed by the numbers too. It's reducing that treatment duration. So you're seeing those Invisalign trays changed over 7 to 14 days. They're actually changing them in 3 to 5, which is mind blowing. It's doing it more predictively and safely. Also, what they're seeing is mid-course corrections and a reduction in mid-course corrections and a treatment refinement. So we're talking about great savings for the patient in terms of their time and chairside time. That is our sponsor. To check them out, click on the link below, check their website out, and let's get the show going. Another Friday roll. Just it's March. I always start off the show by talking about how bloody fast time flies. I don't know. It's crazy. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing out there? I'm doing pretty good. It's one of my favorite times of year. I know, and this part of the world is always busy in this industry at this time of year. It's PDC season. Everybody I'm talking to right now is scrambling to make sure that they have everything that they need, modifying their strategies, working out their deals, their speeches, lots of speakers. We're just going to jump into it here. I got Dr. Bruce Ward online with me today. We decided to do this yesterday, so this is going to be we're just jumping into it. You've been all over the place. You just you were in midwinter Chicago a week ago on the phone, and we were talking about how you were speaking. Obviously, your new role now with the Canadian Dental Association as the president. How cool was that conversation? You said you were sitting down with the folks from Mexico and the USA, like US, and how's that collaboration look with
It's great. Actually,
yeah.
it's not March yet. You said it was March. I got freaked out for a second
I
there.
know.
No,
This will air next week,
yeah,
which will be March.
next week.
Yeah,
Okay,
sorry
good.
about that. I should have mentioned that before we jumped on
Okay,
here.
good. Okay, good. Jeez,
Yeah,
I start to think I missed a week somewhere or something. Anyway,
it happens. We're going through this stuff so fast, right?
yeah, so every year at the Chicago Midwinter, the Canadian Dental Association gets hosted for breakfast by the American Dental Association executive and the leadership. And then we have a meeting later on during the day with, they call it the North American Regional Organization, NARO, and it's the US, Canada, Mexico, and the Bahamas. But the Bahamas people weren't there this time, so it was just the three of us and the three organizations. And I was there with my president-elect from New Brunswick and my vice president from Newfoundland. So we kind of spanned the country in Chicago. But the main item of discussion was our executive director Aaron Burry of the CDA came in by Zoom from Ottawa, and he gave a presentation to the Mexicans and the Americans on the advocacy involved around the Canadian Dental Care Plan, and how it's been rolling out over the last couple of years. And it was actually a great conversation. The Americans were and the Mexicans were extremely jealous, if you will, or extremely appreciative of what we managed to create up here with our government, and in terms of providing care for people who have access to care issues, and the fact that it was a government plan, and that it's been rolled out in such a way that it seems to be working for everybody at this point, with some minor changes required. But yeah, it was really great time to be down there, and really something great to share with these organizations, because they had really no idea how the plan worked, how it came to be, and the role that the dental associations and the CDA played in its development and its ongoing successful implementation. So,
was there anything glaring or interesting that came out of it that was something new to Canada? Is there
No,
anything?
not really. It was basically just saying what's been happening with the dental care plan, and how it first came to be, and what changes were made along the way in order to make it okay for dentists and to participate with. Because I think that was one of the things originally the government hadn't anticipated. It's fine to say, oh, we've got this great dental plan. It's going to be funded, and it's going to take care of people who need financial assistance in accessing dental care. But they hadn't counted on the fact that they really do need the dentists and the denturists on board and the hygienists to actually have the thing work. And so that's where the CDA and all of the provincial associations came into to working with Health Canada and Sun Life in order to create a plan that the dentists and the hygienists and the denturists wouldn't mind signing on to and participating with.
Yeah, I've talked to several folks out there. I know in the beginning, obviously, whenever you're starting something new, there's some road bumps and some speed bumps to go, but it seems like it's ticking along quite well.
Yeah, it's interesting. Government plans usually it's this long, ponderous process that quite often one government will start a project, and then the government changes, and then they'll drop it for a while. And usually this is like one of the largest social programs in the country. And from the time it was announced, when the NDP actually convinced the Liberals by agreement to put this plan forward, until the time it actually rolled out, was like I think it was an 18-month period where they basically came up with the idea, created the plan, created the structure around the plan, and then ultimately it was released very quickly. And that's one of the reasons why there were some growing pains, for sure.
Really interesting out there. I know I've talked to several folks taking CE out there, and they're taking medical related CE to accompany their vast knowledge of the oral cavity. Is this helping? Obviously, it's enabling the folks that might have not have benefited from oral health care. The conversation between oral health, overall health. It's a beautiful thing, isn't it? Like it's nice to. Are you having these conversations? At any capacity?
Yeah. When I graduated from dental school, basically everything we learned was from here up. Yeah. And everything the docs learned was from here down. And there was really no connection, or even a realization that there was a connection. And a couple of years ago, the Minister of Health, the first Minister of Health that was in place when this plan was begun, was Jean-Yves Duclos, who was a great politician and a very smart policy guy, but he wasn't a promoter. And I think the government of the day realized they needed a promoter in that position, someone who'd fight for the plan. because he needed to actually get through a lot of rough roads in order to have the thing get on track. And so they brought in Mark Holland as his name, and Mark Holland was the Minister of Health for the important years when this plan was just coming onto the scene and dentists were signing up. And at one point, he was heard to say, he's been quoted about it afterwards many times, is that dental health is oral health is a huge component of overall health. And all of a sudden, so the government started to get the message, and that's actually, there's been studies after studies after studies that have come out and really resonated with the fact that people who have had bad oral care over the years usually end up more susceptible to hospitalization, cardiovascular disease, and those figures, those statistics are actually coming. I guess we're looking for them and we're finding them, whereas before no one was even looking for them. So yes, it's really made a huge difference in that whole conversation around oral health and overall health.
Yeah. I had the pleasure of sitting down with and doing some work with Dr. Itzfield. He's just outside of Edmonton. He's a dual specialist. He's an orthodontic pediatric dentist, GP. And he's really rolled himself into the system, especially when it comes to like the conversation behind development and airway and what it means, for these kids growing up, not getting proper sleep, hearing stories about how he's worked with the medical system and been an advocate outside of obviously his realm of expertise, but getting these kids into surgery to, get adenoids and tonsils removed and open up that airway and expand the palate so that these kids are breathing at night and they're able to run across the field subsequently. Like it's really cool. Like that's,
yeah. And if you look, there's so many people, so many GPs and other specialists are, they call them, I don't know, in Vancouver here, they call them sleep dentistry practitioners. And there's more and more of those. And there's stores all over the place for sleep apnea devices. And 3 or 4 of my friends in the last 3 years have actually gotten sleep apnea devices and found it's made a huge difference to their overall well-being. And then when you look at the statistics of untreated sleep apnea with respect to early ending of your life and quality of life, it's quite remarkable how that's come along. So that's oral treatments that are affecting the whole body. And so it's just one of the small areas, but you're right, airways and perio. And perio and there's some cardiologists, particularly in the States, who have these private practices before they accept patients. They make them have a full dental workup before they'll even take them on as patients, and they want to get their gums and their teeth in good shape because they don't want that to contribute to heart problems or stroke problems down the road. And it's becoming extremely important to a lot of practitioners. There's way more to go in order to get it into the mainstream, but it's definitely starting. Compared to even 3 or 4 years ago, it's a huge difference.
Yeah, the collaboration is a beautiful thing, especially when it comes to healthcare, right? It's, you're an expert in this area. There's always so much to know. Like, I have a good friend that's a surgeon, and he's like, Mark, I only know probably 10% about the GI tract. Like there's so much to dive into, and to, have a patient that's going through the system, to talk to all these specialists that kind of tie things together, and the outcome is just that much better. I think that's the future, isn't it?
It is. I mean, I have a family full of doctors. 2 of my brothers are doctors and 2 of my nieces are doctors. And what they know about the mouth is almost nothing.
Yeah.
It's just, they've got so many other body systems to master that, they have no idea. So quite often they'll call me and go, what about this? What do you think that is? And as I said, my brother is a pediatrician, and he said he can examine a baby everywhere. Its private parts are not its private parts as we consider them. It's their mouth, and you cannot get your fingers into a baby's mouth. You can look at every other part of their body, but not. And so people guard their mouth, and you need a special set of skills in order to be able to work in the mouth. And doctors just don't have the time to get taught that. So we become the specialists in that area, and it's a great place to be because we can contribute to their body of knowledge, and we use them a lot for our patients' or well-being in terms of medications and problems. So collaboration is a great thing.
Yeah, these meat suits that we live in are pretty cool. Pretty
Yeah,
cool
they are.
machines, aren't they?
Yeah. The more you
So,
see, the more you get that. It's unbelievable.
yeah, it is. It's you can go down so many rabbit holes. It's really cool. Bruce, this is your first year. You know, last time you were on the show was just before PDC 2025. This year's gone by so fast. It must have been. It's like a whirlwind for you, I'm sure. And congratulations on your new role with the Canadian Dental Association.
And it's almost my old role. I've only got another 2 months to go.
That's
It's
it.
gone
Well,
very,
geez, I'm glad I caught you before it was
very
over.
fast. It's gone very fast.
And
Yeah.
how has the year been? Has it been enlightening? What's some of the key highlights that have come out of this year for you?
Well, I was on the board for 5 years, and then became vice president and then president-elect. And this was my presidential year. I guess, uh, the relationships that you build up for me, is the most important thing. I've had a great year with respect to meeting all of the provincial presidents and CEOs across the country and working with them. And we realize that in the years past, there's been quite often dissension in the ranks among the provinces, and it's difficult to get things done. But COVID came along, and it was kind of like running a comb through an unruly a head of hair. All of a sudden, everybody got aligned and on the same page, and we went through COVID together. And the Canadian Dental Association supported the provinces, and the provinces supported their members, and it actually made a case for how important organized dentistry is for this kind of thing. And then when we got out of COVID and we're just coming back, then the government threw in the Canadian Dental Care Program, and it required all of us working together. Our CEOs fond of saying we each have our own lane. So the CDA's job with respect to the Canadian Dental Care Program was creating a relationship with the government and becoming their trusted advisor. The provinces were taking care of the members in their own province and taking care of more their physical needs, if you will, like how it's going to work, how reimbursement's going to be, the communication around the plan, all of those things, and getting the members to consider participating or not as they chose. But the CDA's job was more contextual, sort of more context, and the associations was more content, and defining those two roles among those two groups has actually made the country extremely united and strong in its approach to the government and its approach to dentistry. So it was a really good year for me, because this was just a continuation of building relationships and using those relationships to work for everybody. So I've had a really great year like that. I've gotten to do conversations like this I'm having with you now with people across the country. My next call today is prepping us to have a conversation with the new Deputy Minister of Health, so that I'm on the same page as my CEO and our staff people at the CDA. And I've met the health minister, and she's not a dentist, she's not a doctor even, and so we're telling her things that she didn't know, not as a you need to do this, but as a in case you didn't know, this is how the plan's working. This is some of its unintended consequences, and making us a partner in working with them to have things work better. So it's been it has been a good year. There's no massive catastrophes. There's no new COVID. There was no new dental plan coming. So
knock on wood, you got 2 months left.
I had a nice quiet.
The way things are going, Bruce.
Yeah, I better knock on wood somewhere.
Yeah, do it. Yeah. And before we jumped on here, you were talking. You brought up the fact of it might be there might be folks unaware of what the CDA is actually advocating for the industry. Maybe
yeah. I was surprised at how much advocacy the CDA does. I mean, it's in Ottawa. Every year we do a Days on the Hill, which is where they make the staff at the CDA sets up appointments for the advocacy committee who comes to Ottawa, and we break up in teams of 2, and we go talk to MPs, and we go talk to senators, and we go talk to senior staffers in Ottawa, and we have various discussion points that we bring up with them, just trying to educate them on dental issues in the country and trying to get their assistance or cooperation in moving some initiatives forward. Like this year we were talking about, there's a huge a huge workplace shortage of, you probably know that, dental assistants and dental hygienists, dental receptionists, dental staff. Ever since COVID, somehow when everybody came back to work, they're very rare. Certified dental assistants, hygienists have been very difficult to find for a lot of people. So the question is, what can the government do in order to stimulate a better environment for training more qualified people to work in dentistry? Because the CDCP is going to bring 9 million more people into the system eventually, and those people are going to need to be treated, and those treaters are going to need staff, and so that was one of the issues we talked about. And the other was just misconceptions around the dental plan. Like, a lot of politicians are saying, oh, it's free dentistry, and you're so lucky because you're getting free dentistry, and you just need to go in and you get everything done for nothing. And it's like, it's not that way. And the CDCP isn't as much, they say it operates like a dental plan, but we need to actually point out to patients that it's not a dental plan. It's more social program, if you will, to assist people with their dental care through cost relief. But even more than that, I think the government sees it as an affordability measure. So it's making life for people more affordable. If they don't have to pay for dental care, they have more affordability in their lives. And as you know, that's the big buzzword all around the world, but especially in North America, affordability. So what this plan does is it actually allows for affordability, particularly to the seniors. And seniors are a very important group to the government because they vote a lot. So the plan itself has a lot of support in the Canadian public, particularly among seniors. And as I said, it's not so much a dental plan as it's an affordability issue for a lot of Canadians. Mm-hmm. So yes, the CDA basically it's an advocacy organization. It advocates for less sugar in drinks. It advocates for removing flavors from vaping pens so that they're not bringing kids into the equation, and basically handling any concerns that the provinces might have. So a lot of times the provinces write to the CDA or call the CDA. We meet very frequently, and they bring problems that they're having in their province to us. And if there's something that we can do federally, then we will. Sometimes it's all provincial, but a lot of times there's federal initiatives that can be brought into it, and that's where the CDA comes in. So it's been very interesting for me to see how government works from the inside out as opposed from the outside in.
Yeah, speaking across, internationally now, especially in Canada, there's so many folks doing great things. It's nice to hear that barriers are being broken down provincially. I think collaboration is the way to to progress into the future, and it's nice to know that conversations are happening at every single level along the way there. So cool. Wow, you're really plugged in, Bruce. It's really cool. And now
only for another 2 months, and then I get basically abandoned. And
yeah, right. What other board?
So that's
what other board are you going to sign up? I can't see you sitting around there.
I don't know. We'll see. I still am going to participate. I actually stepped down as chairman of the Pacific Dental Conference's organizing group, but I didn't want to leave. I love the meeting. I love being around it. And so I said, I'm going to go back to being a regular organizing group member. So that's where I am now.
Awesome. Yeah. Let's dive into that. That's the next piece that I wanted to touch on. And like I mentioned, it's such a special time of year. It really puts a buzz into the industry, and it's a great social event, and again, connection and collaboration. We're seeing the move of this whole digital thing moving through too, which makes things really interesting. I know there was some sort of change on the CE level that online CE is now uncapped. Am I rambling something? Or that's not true?
I don't think in BC. There is some changes with CE in BC, and that's one of the things that I wanted to mention today is the college. It's now called the BC College of Oral Health Professionals.
Yeah.
And they've actually been working at revamping their governance and their practice standards, and a lot. They're doing a massive amount of work in terms of reorganization. And one of the areas that they're concentrating on is quality assurance or continuing education. And about 6 weeks ago, they sent out a notice to all registrants, hygienists and denturists and everybody that's involved with BC College, which is technicians, denturists, hygienists, assistants, dentists, and dental therapists, and said that they're going to be revamping their CE, the way they track CE and the way people take CE. So, but they didn't give us much information. All they said was by April the 1st, they're going to come out with the program. So what a lot of people took it to mean is, oh, good, we don't have to do CE anymore. So that's been a problem for the PDC, because a lot of people have said, well, if I don't need to do CE, why am I going to bring my staff in from Creston or Fernie or up from up north? We always come, but if we don't need CE, and so the college has kind of been backpedaling on, well, you do need CE, but we're going to be monitoring it a different way. And I wish I could tell you how they're going to be monitoring it, but I have no idea yet. One of the things that's happening, so we had a few of us from the organizing group had a lunch with our registrar about a month ago, and told him, the effect that it was having on the PDC. This uncertainty is making it so that we don't know really where we're ultimately going to end up. And our registrar's been invited. The college hasn't been at the PDC since 2018, I think, was the last time they were there. And then their focus changed, and they realized through their governance model and through what their mandate was protection of the public. So it doesn't really have much to do with the dentists. It's all to do with the public. So they basically stopped coming to the PDC. But we've actually invited, and the registrars accepted to come to the PDC this year, basically to have almost a town hall meeting with dentists. And so on Thursday morning, we're having a presentation by the college at 9:00 in the morning in one of the ballrooms. So it's a room for 700 people. There's a lot of interest in this, and the registrar is going to cover regulation. He's going to cover the new quality assurance program. He's going to cover the new complaints process. He's going to cover the new Health Professions and Occupations Act, and really basically explain it to the people who come to the presentation. And I'm quite excited about that, because we need to get some kind of clarity on how this new system's going to work. I wish I could tell you how it was going to work, but I can tell you for sure the thing they're not saying is you don't need to do CE. So we're just encouraging people to come to the PDC, take courses that appeal to them or that they think they could use in their practice, or they think they could use for general information, but keep a record of everything you take, because on April the 1st, there is going to be a system. And if you've done courses at the PDC and you need to use them for your CE requirements, then you'll have them. So yeah, it's a confusing time, and that the instructions to the members by the college wasn't exactly clear enough that, as I said, it left a message to people that they don't need to do CE, and that's not the case.
Yeah, thank you for clarifying, because it's confusing. It really is, and and I know how vital it is. The breakout sections and those rooms full of people learning different topics is the lifeblood of the show. Yes, there's everybody talking about all the new and greatest tools and gadgets on the convention floor, but you see the migration of people going into the sessions and then down. It's such a real crucial piece to it. Yeah. To the dance.
And we realize this has made us realize that we're in the business. This PDC is in the business of providing continuing education. That's kind of what we are, and it's a very delicate. I've always said it's a very delicate cycle. I mean, you have the coursework and you have the CE for people, which brings them to the convention. You have the trade floor, which is there because so many people are coming to the convention to take their CE. They're also coming to see the new products on the floor. But the more dentists come, the more vendors will want to come. So basically the whole thing all works together. And if you remove one of those, it's like a three-legged stool. You got your CE, you've got your coursework, you've got your social work or socializing at the PDC, and you take one of those legs out and the stool falls over. So we have to be very careful on an ongoing basis that we provide good CE for people, and that then fills up the meeting hall, which is why we serve lunch down there and why we serve drinks at the end of the night, and they're very well attended. I was just in Chicago, and they don't serve lunches there. So at lunch, the whole convention floor, you've been to other meetings too, the convention floor is dead, really. People are out getting lunch. Whereas we bring them down to the floor, give them lunch, and then they usually stay on the floor and do business down there. So yeah, it's a delicate balance, but so far it's been working very well for us.
What are you excited about? What are some of the main stage?
Yeah,
What's
we've got 175 speakers this year, 250 sessions at the meeting over 3 days. There's 200 and I think 230 companies who've taken 600 booths. Our floor sold out in about a half an hour.
Yeah,
We
tell
have
me
a
about
large
it.
we have a large waiting list. I think I'm almost 100 people who want to come, but there's
Yeah,
no room for them this year. Um, and you know the convention floor is going to be full. We're expecting hopefully around 14,000 people to be at the meeting altogether. Um, and and you know, as I said, for me, one of the biggest ones going to be the college is doing two presentations, one on Thursday, one on Saturday, just to hopefully answer people's questions. We've got a lot of speakers that are new to the meeting. We've got some speakers that have been here before, but were very popular, and people have asked us to have them back. So I think it's a very good scientific program this year, and we've got 5 people over 2 days on the live stage doing implants, doing perio work. So, and that's a very popular thing. We weren't sure when we started that. At the PDC, we have a 3-year rule. We do something for 3 years, and if it works, we keep it. And if it doesn't, then we move on to something else. Because usually the first year you're getting used to it, the second year and by the third year, if people are used to it and enjoy it and want it, then we'll continue it. And if it's still not working, then we'll move on to something else. So the live stage was something that we struggled with for a while because it takes a lot of booth space away from the meeting, but it's also a huge addition to the meeting when it's working, and usually it is. You usually have 400 people sitting in those chairs watching.
yeah.
It's always strange to me. They're eating lunch, watching surgery, blood and
Yeah.
guts, and everything else, and only
We're all
only a
used
crowd,
to it, right?
only a crowd of dental people could sit there eating a sandwich, watching somebody up front getting surgery. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
No, it's awesome. I was involved with one of those presentations with Dr. Ed Lowe doing a full veneer
Right.
case, and yeah, it was just that. It was patients in the chair, and it's well attended. Like it's
Yeah.
I
Oh yeah.
mean, we spoke about it last year how amazing that screen is, and
I know.
it's well done for sure. I think
It's a
that's
great addition to the meeting. And when you stand at
yeah,
one end of the convention floor and you look all the way up that 40-foot aisle and you see the big screen, it's like it kind of ties the whole hall together.
yeah,
And I think last year, maybe it was the year before, we instituted 2 entrances to the room, and it's really made a difference in the way the whole convention floor works. Rather than coming in at one end of the room and all the places down at the other end were not necessarily as busy. This way, you've got 2 entrances, and so we find that it's basically spread the busyness out over the floor and created more areas on the convention floor where people go. So I think that was a good addition to it, and that's something we won't change. That's something it's in its 3rd year, and we're going to keep it. We like it.
yeah. It's nice, get that main stretch where you got all the big players, the Sinclairs or sort of the Medlines and Pattersons. But yeah, having them come in to the folks that don't get that type of traffic. Traffic is the name of the game when it comes to those
And that's
folks.
the whole idea.
Yeah.
You want to create traffic for your exhibitors. I mean,
Yeah.
they are the backbone of the organization. So anything we can do to bring people down on the floor and spread it out. That's why having the live stage at one end of the hall took an end of the hall, and that was not necessarily so busy, and it became a place where now some of the vendors are saying, no, we want to be around the live stage because that's where it's happening, and other people say, no, we want to be by the new entrance because that's where we'd like to be. So it's been good to. That's why we put things like the oxygen bar, the photo booth, those kind of things, just to bring people to different parts of the hall, just to increase traffic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah, it's the logistics. It's very well thought out. You guys do a fantastic job.
This year
Yeah.
we got something new this year at the PDC. We're doing hot meals instead of sandwiches.
Oh,
For years, it's funny. You serve box lunches, and then you get your comments afterwards. And the people who always make comments, they're not usually writing the comments to tell you how awesome it was. They're usually
no.
writing to say that they didn't like it and stuff. And so we decided to try something different this year. The convention center has the ability to make these box lunches, but to make them warm. So we're actually going to do heated box lunches this year, and try that one out and see how it goes for people.
We'll try it out for 3 years and then move on to something else. Yeah.
Unless it's horrible, in which case I don't think it's going to be. I think we did a taste test, and I think the food was actually very nice.
Awesome.
And it's a change, right? It's a change, and sometimes change causes upset, but other times people appreciate it. So we'll see.
That that facility is world class. So
it is. We're very lucky.
Oh yeah. The views and things.
At their meeting just recently. I mean, it's a huge meeting, but our physical space is second to none. Everybody who comes from every other meeting comes to BC, and they look at our spot and they look at our meeting and they go, I cannot believe you guys have this space to work in.
Oh,
so yeah, we're really lucky.
You walk out into the halls and you're looking at the North Shore Mountains and the seaplanes. There's nothing. We are so lucky to be I think we take it for granted, but we pay for it, don't we?
We do, but you know what? It's worth it. At the end of the day, it's worth it. So,
I agree. Bruce, I won't keep you for much longer here. Is there anything noteworthy, top of mind that we should know going in? Well, right now it's still February. When we're speaking, but this will come out the night before. I'm going to release this show will be the night before the kickoff. How would somebody have a successful show as a practice owner, we'll say?
Well, seeing there are going to be a lot of new products on the floor that companies are bringing in, so they'll demonstrate them there for you and see. And as I said, it's usually a team building event for people. They like to bring their teams there and socialize, and it's an outing. We have some great hotels associated with the convention, and most of them are full. There's still some space in some of the in one of the hotels. I think everything else is pretty much full up, and so it's a very social meeting. At the end of the day, we have drinks on the floor for 45 minutes, and people usually come down and take advantage of that, and then they usually go to dinner or take their staff out to dinner or go to various reunions and things like that. So it's a very social meeting, but there's a lot of CE. It's a really varied program, and we're still one of the few meetings in North America that doesn't charge for any of our courses. Once you're in the meeting, all the courses are free. I was just in Chicago, as I said, and maybe 1 out of 10 or 12 courses, lectures are free, and the rest cost $130 to go take them. Whereas here at the PDC, it's all free CE, and there's some great speakers coming. So I encourage everybody to look at the program and find something that they want to learn about. We still have some hands-on courses, and it's also a great opportunity to meet some of these super teachers who will come and actually do a hands-on presentation. So nothing helps you learn better than doing it yourself. So
yeah, nothing replaces face-to-face, with anything. Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
We'll be seeing you on the floor too, I understand.
Oh man, and thank you, Bruce. This is such a cool opportunity. Yes, I'm going to be floating around and interviewing people, getting little 20-second sound bites. So I'm really excited about that, and thank you for that opportunity. That's going to be.
Well, thank you for coming.
Yeah. I'm going to have a lot of fun doing it, and I got to get a room. Oh man, on Thursday night. But that's.
Oh yeah, you call the office. So they'll help you out.
Oh, there you go. Perfect. Bruce, this has been a pleasure. Thank you so much, and we'll see you in a couple days here.
I'll look forward to it. Thanks, Mark. Nice to see you.
Likewise.
Thanks. Bye-bye.